quick run through how I started Hippy Do You, what is Hippy Do You. I plan to do a bunch of business videos on Hippy Do You and just the things I've learned, different things. Like I was thinking the other day of like, I've tried so many email marketing platforms for my small business, and I think it'd be really great to do a video just breaking down all the different ones I've tried, the pros and cons, the things I like, the things I don't like, the one I use now, why I use the one I use now, and all the things, as well as things like pop-ups, how to do your first pop-up, how to get like a point of sale system going, how to do taxes, like all things business covered. So anyways, let's get started on how I started my small business, Hippy Do You. So many people ask the question, where did the name come from? And if you are one of my high school friends, you might remember, like, you know, Finstas were a big thing back in the day. They were like the funny Instagrams. I don't think they're as much a thing anymore. Maybe they are called something different, but back in my day, back in high school, like, how many years ago was that? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, Finstas were a thing. And my Finsta in high school was called Hippy Do You. As to where the name came from, I don't know. I was super into like boho hippie style, which I'd still say I am, but more like modern in a way. And so that's kind of where the name came about, all the things. In high school, I was always super into like creative things, as well as making my hobbies into like little small businesses. I saw this meme and it was like, my toxic trait is that I take every hobby of mine and turn it into a small business. And I'm like, is that toxic or is that just smart? I don't know. But yeah, so I love all things creative. Done photography, videography, jewelry. I started out in middle school doing like a hand-sewed pocket company, like on t-shirts. That was a total fail, didn't make a single sale. And yeah, I just have my whole life feel like there's been like a creative itch inside of me to try and like create something, whether it be a business or different idea. Like I've always loved projects in school over tests for sure. So my one friend and I in high school, I feel like we were always like looking at things and being like, we could make this. So we saw these chokers on like maybe Pinterest or something. We went to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and grabbed stuff to make them, and we made them and then posted them on Instagram stories and then sold them. And we sold a handful. They were like cute. They were just like a little string with like a single bead on them. So we sold a handful of those, and then eventually it just kind of like died out. And one day I found the supplies in my closet, and I was like, text my friend, I'm like, hey, like, what do you want me to do with the supplies, whatever? And she was just like, oh, like, do what you want. And so I was like, okay, like, I was trying to think, like, what do I want to do with these? Like, maybe I'll just toss them, or I was like, well, we have supplies, I'll just make some more. So I didn't want to be the annoying girl on Instagram that was always posting on her Instagram stories, selling things, which in the end is really what I am now, but whatever. And so I created an Etsy, and my thought process when talking to my parents on creating an Etsy at first was it's low risk, like low risk to entry, which we can talk about Etsy in another video as well. And then it's just, low risk entry, already has a customer base, which is really nice, easy setup. Con is that they take a portion of what you make, but when you're starting out, I think it's worth the risk because creating your own website and everything is a big liability cost-wise starting out. So started on Etsy, got 7 sales my first day from just family and friends, and I was super encouraged and just really excited about like, okay, like maybe this is something that could like happen. And so it kept growing. I left for college, so this was going into my freshman year of college when I started it all, and life just got super busy with like, I went through sorority recruitment, transitioning into college, all the things. And so it kind of was on the back burner. I remember one day walking to class, one of my friends was like, I don't know why you don't like put more time into this. Like, I feel like it's something that like a lot of people would be interested in here. And that was kind of the spark for me of like, okay, like that's true. Like, I feel like I kind of like shoved it to the back burner because I had so much going on, like transitioning to school. But now I need to like, I should try buckling down and like seeing what happens. So joining a sorority, if you've joined a sorority before, you know that the network within Greek life is literally crazy. I think that is one reason, and we can talk about sorority recruitment in my channel too, but that's for sure one reason, if not many, why Greek life is such an amazing program to join. And so I joined a house at Colorado State where I went to college, and I wore these like tassel earrings to chapter meetings, and girls were like, oh my gosh, I want a pair. And so don't mind the guy leaf blowing outside. So the halo tassels were like our staple earrings starting out. All the sorority girls wanted them. I'm telling you, like, I'd be walking on campus and I would see girls wearing these halo tassels. I sold them for like $12 starting out. We can do another video on pricing your product correctly. But yeah, so they were a really great piece to just like start out. That was our best seller from the beginning. We don't actually sell them anymore just because tassel earrings aren't as much a thing style-wise anymore. Anyways, so Greek life helped grow my market a ton, and my sorority was like, hey, we'd love to have you do a little like pop-up booth for Mom's Weekend. And I was like, sure. So I set up a little table. I had my suite mates work it since I was there attending the event, and we ended up selling out. Which I was not expecting. It was a blessing, but also like a realization of like, oh my gosh, like I was underprepared, and also the realization of like, oh, people like my stuff. Like what I'm doing here, like people are about it, which was really cool. And so that was, we can talk about pop-ups in another video, but just so much to unpack in that of learning and all the things. So did a pop-up, and then all of a sudden all the other sororities are wanting in on, oh my gosh, this jewelry company is doing pop-up events and like giving a percentage back to the chapters. Like that's so great. And so all of a sudden all these sororities are contacting me, hey, can you do an event for us? For here, all these different events. And I was like, heck yeah, like let's do it. And so that kind of was the funnel of my small business pop-ups. Like the sorority pop-ups, that's where the funnel started, because I was in Greek life, I know how the system works, and just like working that angle. And so that's been a huge blessing for HIPY DO YOU over the past 5 years. And just ever since, we've just continued growing, adding new styles, new collection launches. COVID was super fun. I felt like I got to pour my heart and soul into HIPY DO YOU. And there's been ups and downs. Like, I think one thing I beat myself up about is like thinking that's gonna be some like upscale projection linear line, but in reality it's like no business is like that. And I made decisions throughout college that did affect that. Like I studied abroad, I did an internship in Hawaii where just naturally I was more removed from the company and not able to pour as much heart and soul into it and be as present. And so yeah, there's been so many things I've learned along the way, and there's so many things that I still have yet to learn and grow in, and there's so many things that could grow within my company still to this day. Like I have a list of things that I'm like, oh, like this and this like need to be improved always, right? Like there's no company that's perfect, but I think at the end of the day, like everyone, if you have an idea, you should start your business and like go for it. A saying I love is be the girl that decided to go for it, right? Like you don't know unless you try. And I've never been a people pleaser, so it's never been hard for me to like start something, and if I fail, then at least I can say I tried. But I can, you know, they say like when you do something, no one's actually like taking notice of what you're doing, and it's true. Like a lot of times people are either cheering you on or they're just like swiping past what you're posting or what you're doing. So as my encouragement, if you have a small business idea, to go for it. If you have any questions, thoughts, or anything, comment them below. I would love to hear your stories, ideas you have that you want to like take pursuit in, and yeah, I would just absolutely love to cheer you guys on along the way.